When Hollywood's sweetheart stepped onto the set of The Tonight Show, no one expected the storm that would follow. Blake Lively, a seasoned guest known for her grace and charm, stunned the audience and left Jimmy Fallon speechless during what was supposed to be a routine late-night appearance. What unfolded was a raw, uncomfortable confrontation that shattered the polished veneer of late-night television. It started as usual. Jimmy greeted Blake with his trademark enthusiasm, showering her with compliments and light banter. But there was tension in Blake's smile, a steeliness in her voice. When Jimmy casually mentioned how she's always game for whatever we throw at you, something in her snapped. The line hit a nerve. Instead of promoting her latest project, Blake leaned forward and brought up a backstage conversation from her last appearance. She reminded Jimmy of the personal boundaries she had clearly set, boundaries he promised to respect. But during the interview, he violated that trust, bringing up her marriage and personal life on air despite their agreement. As Jimmy tried to deflect, his usual charm faltering, Blake didn't back down. Her voice rose as she accused him of ambushing her, pushing her, and humiliating her in front of a national audience. She recalled how, after the show, he told her to thank him for making her look relatable, dismissing her discomfort entirely. The audience watched in stunned silence. This wasn't entertainment anime, it was exposure. Blake revealed what Jimmy had said when she confronted him backstage: "Play ball or don't come back. You need this more than we need you." That line hit like a thunderclap. Jimmy's nervous deflection turned into desperate denial, but Blake wasn't finished. She accused him of threatening to blacklist her, of using his power to manipulate guests into compliance. Jimmy insisted she was twisting things, but Blake stood her ground. She said members of his own staff had witnessed everything and were just as uncomfortable as she was. The confrontation escalated. Blake referenced other guests Jimmy had mistreated her, like Sarah Chen, who was blindsided with jokes about her painful divorce, and Marcus Williams, a young comedian whose big break was ruined when Jimmy repeatedly cut him off and humiliated him on air. Jimmy's defenses crumbled. He stammered, denied, and tried to shift blame. But Blake kept going. She accused him of treating women differently, probing their personal lives, dismissing their concerns, interrupting them more often than male guests. She said she'd watched hours of footage, and the pattern was clear. Then she took it further, calling out what really happens behind the scenes. The private comments made in production meetings, the way female guests are rated and judged, the use of confidentiality agreements to silence uncomfortable truths. Jimmy tried to shut her down, snapping that those agreements were standard, but in doing so, he inadvertently confirmed everything. Blake's voice was unwavering. She said the worst part wasn't the bullying, it was the cowardice. Jimmy hid behind charm, power, and contracts. But when faced with the truth, he unraveled. He begged to end the conversation. She refused. And then came the final blow. Blake revealed the real reason she returned to the show: to speak on behalf of Emma Rodriguez, a young actress Jimmy had allegedly mistreated in ways far worse than anything yet revealed. As she named names and exposed behaviors, Jimmy's mask finally shattered completely. The cameras kept rolling. The audience, once filled with laughter and applause, was silent. What they saw wasn't just a celebrity confrontation, it was the collapse of a persona, a reckoning long overdue. And for many viewers, it changed everything they thought they knew about late-night television.